All right, thank you for joining us here. We are coming on with an update on some severe weather that we have in the forecast. It's going to be a pretty bumpy week next week. Once we get into the middle of the week, we're going to really start to see some active weather return to the area. But first, I got to give the good news, and that's this weekend forecast, right? We'll pull up the graphics here and show you what we're expecting. For today, it's going to be an absolutely beautiful day. We're going to see those winds die down. That was an issue. It was pretty gusty out there, but hey, 62 degrees what we got to, lots of sunshine, and as we head into the night tonight, we'll be dropping into the 40s, but again, it's been all about what's going to be happening here as we get into the week next week. Just a few high-passing clouds, beautiful out there. Hopefully you get a chance to get out and enjoy this weekend. Now, all this nice weather, yeah, we're going to pay for it once we get to next week. You might have been hearing us talk about this, but there is the potential for some strong to even severe thunderstorms. We're watching Tuesday specifically. Now, you can see here this area outlined in yellow. That's the area that we are concerned with for the potential for those severe thunderstorms. Now, a lot of questions have been asked. Why are we talking about this so early? It's several days out. And what I want to do here is to kind of break this down for you and kind of give you a little bit more details of what we're tracking and what we're thinking that this could be, why we're concerned with it, so on and so forth. So let's break it down for you real quick. Now, first thing, you might hear us talk about the jet stream. That's what moves the storm systems around, and that also is the upper air winds that really drive thunderstorm activity that really could cause some issues, and that's what we're going to see as we head into next week. Now, let's animate this here, and you can see once we get into Tuesday, that's where we're watching Monday and Tuesday, really, that low pressure system, a deepening low, pretty strong low pressure system, but you see those reds and yellows and oranges down here. I'll highlight it for you. That is a concern. This is very strong upper level winds right here down into parts of Oklahoma, also up into parts of Missouri. That is a concern. Now, that's very strong jet stream there, and you can see that streaking through there off to the north, and what we watch for is this type of setup is usually one that we see significant severe weather. We're talking, yeah, this is the kind of deal where we get those tornadoes, the large tornadoes. Now, here's why it's a concern for us, okay? We're going to be on the northeastern flank of this jet streak, or this strong jet stream that's moving through. Got that low pressure just off to our west, so that's something that's going to cause storms to develop. But when we get storms like this, they move southwest to northeast, and also ones that were kind of on a stronger upper level jet like this, those thunderstorms tend to tilt a little bit better, and that gets us kind of in play for more tornadic activity. We get that updraft to be a little bit clearer, get that rain to fall on the northeastern quadrant of that storm. That's why we watch that. That's one ingredient. Now, temperature-wise, obviously we're going to be a weekend where we see some 80s. That's great, but leading into this potential severe weather outbreak here Monday and Tuesday, that's going to be juice to get these storms going. We look at Monday, we're going to be in the 70s. Monday we should be fine. A lot of sunshine, but it's Monday night I do think we're going to have to be concerned with, because we're going to have significant severe weather going on in the plain states. That will be moving into our area come Tuesday, at least Monday night into Tuesday morning. We'll wake up about 7 a.m., 58 degrees, which is well above average. Actually, our average high this time of year is low 60s, so we're going to be climbing maybe into the mid 70s. That's enough heat to get thunderstorms to develop. We've experienced that, I think, over the last several months here, as we've seen storms develop in low 50s and produce tornadoes. So then on the back end of that, we do drop temperatures a little bit. Once we get into Wednesday, we're going to remain active as well. The other thing we look at is dew point. That's moisture. How much moisture is going to be in the air? Well, once we get into next week, look at Monday. Okay, we're now into the mid 50s. Look at those 60s out to the southwest. Well, guess what? Tuesday afternoon, look at that, 62 degree dew points. That translates right into Tuesday afternoon and evening. That's enough, more than enough moisture to get thunderstorms, get clouds to form, and get thunderstorms and get things to condensate. So that's the other key there. Now, thunderstorm energy. Let's kind of putting this all together now. This is Monday. I will say this. Monday looks pretty significant out to the southwest. I'm watching this area here. The CAPE is just off the charts. Now, CAPE stands for the available potential energy in the atmosphere. And we're seeing a ton of energy. Once you get to those yellows and whites, that shows that we have very strong, very large amounts of energy. We can get storms to fire pretty easily. There will be a cap in place, which means you get a layer aloft that's a little bit warmer and drier that does not allow thunderstorms to develop. But all in all, here we go. We've got a lot of shear. Now, I'm going to explain this here. You see these wind arrows. Now, the yellow ones, or kind of off-white here, that's winds at the surface coming from the south-southeast. Now, in the upper levels, we got winds coming out of the southwest. That's those jet stream winds, very strong jet stream winds. So look at that. You got winds moving at different directions with height. You got strong winds. You got a lot of energy. That's conducive for seeing some significant tornadoes, and that's going to be the concern. This translates into our area come Tuesday. I'm going to go back to that graphic here real quick. We'll go into our area here Tuesday. Now, all this slides to the east here. The one thing I've noticed, though, is a little bit of weakening trend here on our energy. Now, that's something that would be good. We would like to see that, and we'd like to see that trend continue on here. Still lots of shear. There's lots of wind shear going on, so that alone is going to be something that we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. But some trend in showing Tuesday not as intense as what maybe Monday would be further to our southwest. Nonetheless, the ingredients are still there, but it's a trend that we're going to keep a very close eye on. Now, as I explained, what is shear? Well, here's a good example of it. So you got all these winds. You got those, the yellow is winds at the mid-levels, the white is at the surface, blue is kind of as you're stepping up in the atmosphere, and those red arrows there represent the jet stream winds moving ahead. So we get storms to develop into that, and you kind of see here, once you get an updraft going, well, that's going to kind of get that thing to spin, and then once we get that spinning going on with a high shear environment, yeah, boom, you see those storms develop, and shortly after, you can usually get some tornadoes to develop. So that is what we're going to be concerned with here once we get into the day Tuesday, Monday to our southwest, and then again Tuesday here. Now let's take a look at exact track. We're going to show two models. This is model number 1 on our long-range models. It is showing activity developing here once we get into Tuesday, and that is concerning. So we look at Monday, we start to see development out to the southwest of Omaha here in the Great Plains. That's the area that certainly is going to be favored down into Oklahoma City, up to Kansas City here on Monday, maybe up to Omaha. A lot of thunderstorm development being indicated on here. And just to note here, you look at this and it looks pretty widespread, like more of like a rain cluster. Well, this is a long-range model. This is not so much what radar is going to look like. It's just a general placement. We're still several days out. Our short-term models don't really come in yet. Once we get to Saturday and Sunday, we'll start to have a better idea of how this is going to time out. Now, it does show that activity developing. Moving in here Tuesday morning might be round 1, and then as we get into the afternoon, we get a little bit of clearing, which is not what we like because that warms things up, that humidity. You get all those boundaries from the morning activity, and then it shows more activity firing up here in the evening hours, and then that finally moving through overnight, and there's that low that pushes out of the area once we get into Wednesday morning. Now let's take a look at another model. This is another long-range model. Again, this is not what radar is going to look like, but it shows you kind of an area where storms will develop here. Well, we kind of have the same scenario here, but this model has pushed things a little bit further to the east, more into our area. So as we get into Tuesday morning, we continue with that activity, and then maybe some redevelopment here in the afternoon, almost a similar scenario. This is a new update and actually kind of catching up with the model number 1 that we look at. So pretty interesting there. So that agreement is one of the things that has caused us to be a little bit concerned here, and why we've started to talk about this is because there's been some pretty steady model agreement on this. And what we've noticed here, actually an interesting trend, is with severe weather, especially these big events that we've had over the last several months, and really over the last year or so, is when we start to see these signals several days out, maybe up to 5-6 days out, and the consistency in model run after model run is there. It usually, in the cases of the last 4 or 5 events, they have panned out. So that's where we're kind of keeping an eye on this and want to get that message out. So timing-wise, Monday night into Tuesday evening, that's when we're really talking the majority of the severe weather is going to be. We could see some overnight Monday night. That timing needs to be really worked out here. That's something that's going to happen over the next several days. Threats, definitely, if we do see this pan out, what it looks like we'll see right now is high-end severe weather, the large hail, the damaging winds, the tornadoes, the strong tornadoes. This is that kind of environment. This is a significant severe weather situation if this does pan out. So that's why we're a little concerned about this, and definitely want to get the message out as soon as we can. And confidence on this, low on placement. I want to mention that. This is still several days out, okay? Things will change. It might be a little temperature difference in one of the models, That is all it will take to change things here. But again, we have to watch because over the last several days, since really Wednesday, the models have been pretty consistent on this, and really, it's been one of those deals that we haven't really seen much swaying away from showing a significant severe weather event. I want to mention too that this is pretty broad right now. It's Midwest based, so it's the entire Great Plains states up into our area, the upper Midwest, is under the threat. Now, once we get a little bit better model agreement here over the next several days, we're going to have a better timing of things. We're going to have a better idea of how this could evolve. So there's a lot of questions here, but again, the best thing to do is just to take that kind of mental note. You'll get through the weekend. It's going to be beautiful, and we don't want you to be caught off guard once you get into next week, and boom, we've got severe weather to start the week. It'll be a very beautiful weekend. Get out there and enjoy it, but start to think about Tuesday being a day where, hey, if you've got outdoor plans, maybe think to change them, because it definitely looks like we're going to see some thunderstorm activity, that's for sure, but to what level is still, that confidence isn't the greatest yet, but nonetheless, we have that potential there. Again, if we do see it, kind of what we're seeing now, it shows that we could be into a high-end severe weather event for the upper Midwest. Now, I will say this, Monday definitely looks to be significant. If you know anybody out into the Great Plains state, we're talking Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, western Missouri up into southwestern Iowa, give them a heads up that Monday could be pretty bumpy for them as well. So it's just one of those things. You got to be prepared, right? Can't really, nothing to be scared about, but we're going to walk you through this. We're going to keep talking about this over the weekend and give you the updates as new model data comes in, as we get better updates here. We'll keep you updated on those and on any changes that happen. And hey, if things start to show that maybe this system might push to the south or might weaken a little bit, great news, right? We would love that to happen, and we will certainly update you and let you know if that is a trend that we're noticing. But for right now, we kind of staying on the course here with the messaging that we're giving out. That is, Tuesday could be a severe weather day here. Once we get to Sunday, we'll, if we see the conditions still warrant, we'll put out a first alert day and give you a little bit better messaging and better timing on things. But all in all, enjoy the weekend. It's going to be beautiful, 70s and 80s, lots of sunshine. But as we head into next week, we will be talking that severe weather potential Monday night into Tuesday. Start thinking about that. So for now, that's the latest here from the Digital News Desk. I'm meteorologist Kyle Dickens. I'll be with you all weekend long, and we'll give you some updates throughout the weekend on what we know. And when we know it, we'll make sure you know it as well.